Hey everyone, Tactics here, bringing you guys a quick guide to SLUDGEFIST on both normal and heroic difficulties. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's not waste any time. This is a very simple, heavily scripted one-phase encounter, however it is tight in terms of both healing and DPS requirements, making it a bit of a gear check. You'll fight him in the same room you fought Shriekwing in, but this time the pillars have a different use. When SLUDGEFIST reaches full energy, he will charge at the current take after a few seconds, killing anyone in its path. If he impacts a wall, it's a wipe, but if he impacts a pillar, it deals a burst of raid damage, stuns SLUDGEFIST for 12 seconds, and causes him to take 100% increased damage for the duration. Every time a pillar is destroyed in this way, a stacking dodge is applied to the entire raid, increasing the healing needed as the fight goes on. Aside from his charge attack, he has the Giant Fist passive, causing his melee attacks to cleave to the closest player within 5 yards of his target, or striking the target twice if no one else is in range. This means you'll want your tanks to be stacked up this entire fight, and make sure your melee DPS are avoiding them. Throughout the fight, he will chain together several pairs of players via chain link, which is light ticking damage to both players, but if the pair moves more than 12 yards apart, it instantly kills them both. To deal with this, we had a melee stack and a range stack, where each stayed together the entire fight and moved as a group for the various mechanics. While chained, I also recommend not using any movement abilities such as blink or disengage, especially if your partner lacks similar mobility. To limit your space, SLUDGEFIST will occasionally spawn falling rubble on players, which is just a 6-yard AoE that stuns players hit and leaves a puddle behind. Again, this was just resolved by moving as a group, having someone marked calling out the direction to dodge in, and standing right next to the previous puddles in order to maximize space. On top of this, SLUDGEFIST will use Destructive Stomp, which is a 20-yard radius circle melee and tanks will need to run out of, that also destroys any pillars inside of it, so make sure the boss is tanked more than 20 yards from any remaining pillars. There's also Colossal Roar, which is a burst of raid damage that knocks back all players. You'll want to watch your positioning for this, as getting knocked back into rubble puddles or away from your partner can be painful. On Heroic, SLUDGEFIST will target a random player with Chain Slam, pulling them and any allies within 7 yards into him after 4 seconds, and dealing a large amount of damage split between them. You'll want to have around 4 players soak each of these, though this can be soaked with immunities like Turtle and Ice Block. Chain-linked partners need to be very careful here, as if one goes in, the other has to join as well, otherwise they'll both die. Lastly, at 30% health, the boss will enrage, gaining 20% additional attack speed and damage for the remainder of the fight. For our kill, we found that using Bloodlust after SLUDGEFIST impacts the second pillar to be best, as this lines up with 2-minute cooldowns being up, as well as the damage taken increase provided by the pillar collision. If you're struggling with the enrage, feel free to move this list later into the fight to help get through it. So to recap, tank stack for the entire fight, aim the charge at one of the pillars, and make sure the boss is always tanked 20 plus yards from one. Linked players need to stay within 12 yards for the duration, otherwise they'll both die. Make sure players are dropping falling rubble piles close to each other in order to maximize space. When the boss casts Destructive Stomp, make sure everyone is running out of the circle. Be careful of your positioning for the knockback and Colossal Roar. And on Heroic, make sure at least 4 people or an immunity are soaking the chain slams. But that concludes my quick guide to the SLUDGEFIST encounter on both normal and heroic difficulties. If you found this video useful, please make sure to like and subscribe for more Warcraft content like it. You can also follow me on Twitter or check me out on Twitch, both at Tactics. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.